All right, hey, we got it. We're set. We got it in here. There's supposed to be an intro there, but welcome to Generation Wealth. Sorry for the delay there, guys, but this is going to be a weekly show that we're going to bring you. It's going to be myself and my son Zach ZTS Rhythm, as you guys know him, and we're just going to come in here. We're going to talk policy. We're going to talk about what's going on in the markets, about different things that might be going on. For example, like I'm a Gen X. We're going to be bringing people on that are millennials, like FDY just talked about coming on here and doing some stuff with us. And then, of course, we've got ZTS, my son. He's a Gen Zer. That's why the show is called Gen Wealth. It is about generational wealth, and it is about those perspectives that you may have from your generation, your experience, your circle of impact, right, if you will. And so we're going to sort of talk about that type of stuff and Alex O, you are more than welcome to come on and bring that perspective for millennials also. As a matter of fact, I'd like to bring people on weekly to this thing so that we can sit around and just take a look at what's going on for the week, talk about our perspective of how we see it, how this is going to play out for us, and whether it be a headline or whether it be some simple things like a topic that we have today, guys. We're going to have a topic of debate today, and you guys in the chat are going to be taking part in that one also. But let's go ahead and bring up my son. He's going to be here doing this with me every single week, so I'm looking forward to that. But let's go ahead and let's get him up here onto stage with us. ZTS Rhythm. What's up, Zach? How you doing?
You know me, chilling. It's Sunday, a really good Sunday at that. If you guys aren't aware, today is
hold on, don't steal the thunder. Don't steal the thunder.
Oh, I'm stealing thunder now. Okay, my bad. You go.
So, Zach, you're Jordan here today, and it's actually a very special day, as you guys just got the precursor Warno there from him. Today is Zach's birthday. He's 25 years young today. Oh, to be 25 again. If you guys remember 25, let us know in the chat. And if you are 25 and you're right there in that category with Zach, for being a Gen Zer, and you're gonna be able to provide some of that insight. Drop, let us know in the chat there, guys. But yeah, today is Zach's birthday. He's 25, so happy birthday, Zach. What are you gonna do tonight? What's your birthday consist of?
Well, it's not really much different than any other day. I'm at the age where that kind of just starts happening for me. So really, it's just kind of an excuse to go hang out with some of my friends in town that I haven't seen in a minute. We're gonna go out, probably get some drinks, because it is a Sunday. I have tomorrow off of the fiat mine, so yeah, that's gonna work out great for me. And then on top of all that, like, probably just do this. After this, we're gonna cook up a short real quick. And then after that short's cooked up, I'm going to be going back and grinding on Fortnite.
Whoa. It's kind of stupid. Much love, man. Much love.
Thank you, Alex. So thank you to the Otter Gang. That's appreciated.
Was I muted for that part? I hope not. I was muted. Yeah, got a $20 super chat from Alex. So for your birthday, we will make sure that your birthday money goes to you today. Sorry about that, Retro Mike. Yeah, I got to make sure I mute because we're both in the same room, so we don't want to like pick up on each other's microphones here. But yeah, so $20 super chat. Appreciate you, Alex. I said that's like $5 in Canadian or in US dollars there from $20 Canadian. We'll see. It muted just before I said super chat. Lovely, love it. All right, so happy birthday. Only music, no mic. I fixed that. You guys can now hear me, right? There's microphone and music. Is the music too loud? I can turn that down. It's just supposed to be some background music. That's what background noise. So let's get it. Let's go ahead and look at what we got going on this week, guys. We got a couple of things. I want to bring them up here onto the charts first. And then we're going to take a look. Hey, In-N-Out Crypto in the house. Hey, Zach, do me a favor. Hand me my Caspa hat over there. Let me rock my Caspa hat while I'm over here with In-N-Out Crypto. so we can get into that. But we're going to take a look at, we got meetings this week going on with the Fed. We got S&P Global. So we're going to take a look at all of that. Yep, there it is. Beautiful, beautiful Caspa hat. Pass that over here. Let's get that in and out swag going. There we go. Bam. Guys, there's links for in and out down there below. So, oh, we got a gifted membership here also. Retro Mike Tech gifted a membership, and it went to Melissa. So shout out to Retro Mike Tech. We much appreciate you, bro. And Melissa, welcome to the alumni. We'll make sure that that membership money goes over to Zach also. So you're up to like $25 now, son, for your birthday tonight. About to get your drink on. Of course, with inflation, that's like 2 drinks, maybe. I bet Alex needs that cast hat. Everybody needs this cast hat, Retro Mike. Everybody. Let's jump over here to the screen and let's talk about what we're seeing here for this week going on. Zach, I'm going to go ahead and just hide your picture here, if you don't mind. There we go. Perfect. Here's what we got going on this week, guys. We got Fed meeting minutes going on. That's on Wednesday. Nothing on Monday. Nothing on Tuesday. So this little pump that we got going right now is looking pretty good for us going into Monday and Tuesday. Not a lot of events that can bring us to the downside. We do have S&P Global Services here. Tell you what, I'm going to put my microphone stuff over there. That way I can see if I'm live while I'm talking, looking at the screen. So S&P Global Services PMI data, that's going to be on Thursday. And then July existing home data sales is on Thursday. You guys saw the new home sales data that we did last week. We looked at that. I believe that was on Thursday also. And the numbers were not good. It showed a big slowdown on new home builds and on new home construction permits. So we're seeing a slowdown on that. I'm interested to see what's going on with the existing home sales data going on this week, though. That's going to be on Thursday. We're going to get July new home sales data on Friday, and then Fed Chair Powell is going to be speaking at Jackson Hole on Friday, guys. So that's going to be a total of 4 Fed speakers this week. The S&P is now just 2% away from a new all-time high. So the markets are pumping, guys. The markets are pumping up. We're waiting to see it in crypto. If you guys caught, I was on Blockchain Basement and I did a breakdown over there of why we should be bullish. There's a lot of reasons to be bullish right now. And we broke it all down. If you guys haven't checked that out, you should go check that out. Matter of fact, let's jump over there and I'm going to go find that. Let's just go to YouTube here and I'll show you exactly what that thumbnail looks like on that one, guys, because I did a pretty good breakdown over there. Shout out to FD White. He was talking big time about it on X. And, so evidently I did something right on it. Let's go to Blockchain Basement and we'll just check that out. Blockchain Basement. Let's go Blockchain. And then let's go Blockchain Basement. There we go. Can you guys hear that music? Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear that music. I'm not sure if you can or not. If not, I can turn it up a little bit. We'll get some sound going. Why would you invest in the S&P 500, which I don't know. Why would you play ads in the middle of me looking for a thumbnail, bro? That's the question there. Let's jump over here. You guys notice there's no ads playing in this. I'm not going to be playing ads during this live stream. It's just going to be this is for the members and it's for everyone to get in here and hang out. Mike Play said, "Sup? What's up, Mike Play? Just hanging out here today. Got talking about what's going on this week, and we're going to talk about some stuff going on with policy with ZTS Rhythm here. So if you guys don't know, this is my son, and today's his 25th birthday, and this is the start off of Gen Wealth. We're going to be publishing this out as a podcast on a lot of podcast channels. FD White's helping me out with that. Yeah, it's going to be pretty good, guys. Pretty good. Let's jump over here, though. This is the video that you're looking for in Blockchain Basement this week that I did that full breakdown on, and it's right here. It's this True Signal, incredible Bitcoin bottom analysis, time to go all in. That is going to be the video that we're looking for there, and I really go deep in here about all the reasons you should be bullish right now. Again, S&P, like I said, that's what led us down that rabbit hole, 2% away from the all-time high. So watch that stuff out. Watch out for that stuff going on this week. But you guys know, let's talk about let's talk about Kamala Harris for a second here. You guys see this video here? Well, she was talking about this. Let me bring this in and let's see if I can play this.
It has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more. Equitable distribution. Giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place. And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more. So we all end up in the same place, right? We are proud of the fact that equity is one of our guiding principles. Proud of the fact that we understand equality is important, but not everybody starts out on the same base. We see that people in our country are having an experience that is not equal. So when we talk about the work we are doing here together, it is recognizing that and being guided by this principle of what we must do in the spirit and in the interest of equity. To put equity firmly at the center of our economic policy. But no, if you look at
I heard
the reality of who
I heard
will
enough of this
benefit from
pain, man.
certain
I can't
policies.
keep it going. Hold on. Let me jump back over here. I can only listen to so much of this before the military in me, the Army soldier that said, I give my constitutional devotion, my oath to the Constitution. I hear this. No soldier's ever said, I'm going to go bleed and die for socialism and communism, ever, unless they're in Russia or China, and that's because they have to. So, yeah, I am broadcasting this also on X, just so you guys know, because I truly feel that this might be the podcast that says no-go on YouTube sometimes. So, but that's okay, guys. If you guys are new here, go ahead, hit that like and hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about this whole setup with her. I do want to, I want you guys to talk. Let's talk first about what she's referring to here, okay? She's talking about the communism, the socialism and equity, right? And when you look at equity, how it's going to play out for everyone, for the world, right? Everyone getting to the same spot. So not everyone starts at the same place. That's what she said. And they end up getting to a point where they are all at the same ending, right? And that's called socialism, which where even if you work hard and try to advance to get ahead, you should not get further ahead than somebody that doesn't have the same opportunity as you because, you know, they lack drive, motivation, opportunity. Because it will all be included in that, guys. Keep in mind, when they talk about this, they talk about someone that is in an underprivileged or impoverished region, right? Or a social class that is not going to have, you know, obviously good robotics in school and stuff like that, right? That's what they're going to play it on. But it's also going to go across the board and blanket into a place where it's now looking at, this individual just doesn't have the ability to get in there and focus and drive into something that's going to grow and develop into a good paying job. So we're going to help them out. We're going to help them out too. Okay. You can get pretty far. Just don't go further than me. Exactly. That is exactly it. Let's jump over here to Duo Cam because, unfortunately, Zach, we see a lot of this being adopted as it's an okay mentality from Gen Zers. Would you agree with that statement, or like, what's your stance on how do you think about your generation when they look at, yeah, we're going to help you get ahead of, so that you have something regardless of how much effort, opportunity, or practice you put into your skill set? What do you think about?
I think, in my personal opinion, a lot of kids my age, and I say kids is because they do have a mental mindset of somebody who is still a kid, who's still being provided for, and they don't really get the understanding of going out there and earning your own peace to help you do the things that you want to do. And then on the other side of it, like, yes, it's there to help you survive, but that's the basic step, is the survival portion. And you've drilled this into me for a long time, and I get that. And I see a lot of the people my age just like, it's not fair, they're not doing anything to help me, I have to do it all on my own. Like, it's a lot of those kids that were like me when I was really young. They got too comfortable in that support system that they had, and they didn't think about going outside of that and learning to do things on their own, essentially. And that's what I see. That's pretty much all I got on, like, for that answer. Like, there's not much more I can really say about that. There's just what I see and what I do. I try to not do that. I look at what I have, I go out there, I put work in. That's what I do.
Exactly. And I actually think that really good point that you're making there is that you put the work in, right, to make it. I actually think that we could see things like this. Mike Play said this, supposed to give more if you're lacking, not ask for more. That's a good point. But nope, where's it at? Right there. Retro Mike said it. He said, so should I work less to be equal with others? Got it. And I think that's exactly what you would have. You were just talking about, you go out there to work and to grind. But if you know that you can do less to get the same as the person next to you, or if you go, I don't really need to put in more, I'm at the level of, UBI. We'll talk about that down the road on this show also, universal base income. How does this look for people wanting to advance? Like, why would anybody go to get an advanced degree? Why would anybody go to get, an extra certification and extra skills, stay up to date, so on and so forth? And I think you bring up a good point with that there, Retro Mike. Let's see here. Looking at the chat, it was A said it was his most viewed content. Oh, I guess you're talking about this one that you did at Rare Evo. Yeah, the Rare Evo one. Yeah, I saw that. A to Ace, good video. If you guys haven't seen that one yet, he's at Rare Evo and he's talking about Ada Gaming. I don't recall exactly what it was, but yeah, good video for sure, man. Let's go and continue on here, guys. I got some other policy things that I want to talk about, because one of the things that Kamala Harris was talking about on top of equity is that she is breaking in on one of the things that she's going to do on day one. If you guys haven't seen it, yes, let me get this pulled up here and we will talk about this. Give me 1 second. There we go. Perfect. And then let's get over to that and let's get it.
Will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food.
We've seen this kind of thing tried in lots of other countries before: Venezuela, Argentina, the Soviet Union, etc. It leads to shortages. It leads to black markets.
Essentially what we're talking about, though, is gargantuan big government that controls everything. What we're talking about is a war on capitalism.
It's not going to be markets. It's not going to be supply and demand that's determining how much your grocery store charges you for milk or for eggs. It's going to be some bureaucrat in DC, which seems like totally unworkable.
It's always about control. They want to control. They want to be able to pick winners and losers, and also be able to punish those losers.
So yeah, getting a little ad there for Trump and Vance, guys. Let me bring this back. Give me 1 second here. I need to get some fast buttons going in here. There we go. Let's bring this back to here. Let's come back to DuoCam. So she wants to, I don't know if you heard about this, Zach, but she wants to she said gauging, pretty normal for her to mess up, basic English. Gouging is the word she was looking for. Price gouging on groceries. And we've seen this. We've seen this, a ban on XRP from Retro Mike. Man, I can't even with you. Let's see what the chat's saying about this, and then we'll break this down. Retro Mike said, yes, ban XRP, ban it all. A to A said, she has crazy ideas. Give a bunch of other things, and she'll control everything she wins, and we're all effed. That's pretty true. We're actually going to break this down. because there's a tweet, sarcastic tweet that got put out. But really what she's talking about doing is that price gouging of food, guys. She's groceries need to be capped where they can't just gouge the price, because she really does think that grocery stores just raised the price on us and that there wasn't a second and third order effect of something else going on there, right? But Zach, you and I were actually talking about this earlier today, and I said, you know, I said, have you seen in prices increase at the grocery store? Because you go to work, you have to get things locally because you work at a shop that bake goods. That's about it, right? So unless you want sugar and carbs all day for your food, you're pretty much stuck getting food from outside sources. And you got to, you know, grocery stores and restaurants around there. But you see, like, it takes about 2 to 3 hours of your work for you to actually buy a meal. So, and I asked you, I said, what have you seen with pricing and stuff like that going on? Doom running 35. Oh, okay. Ace is still talking about Hydra. Yeah, that's what it was. It was Doom on Hydra. Thank you. I knew I watched part of it, and then I had to get into all this stuff. So my apologies, Dana. And then I asked you, Zach, about how you felt about the prices going on with stuff, and you said you weren't shocked about it. You said the key indicator. I'm gonna put you on the spotlight here. I'm gonna put you in the hot seat. But you said the key indicator that prices were going up was not the food prices. What?
Good old petroleum, that the gasoline. Yeah, that was the one thing that I noticed when that price went up. I already knew the other price, like other things that take fiat, were also going to get a bump. And like, I started driving back in 2016, 2017, so I had that whole 3 years to get like comfortable with what the gas prices were at. Then that gave me an indication of, like, I saw the gas prices go up in like 2020. They settled back down, not a whole lot, but they did settle back down, and then they went up again. And both the times that it raised, I noticed that all the other items that I was spending money on also got a price increase.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's for a good reason. Let me hop back on the mic here. That's for a good reason, because everything moves with oil, right? That's the petrol dollar, and that's what really gauges the cost of everything, right? Big reason for that is because that is the cost of goods. It takes gas to get things moved to the grocery store. It takes gas to process things, right? So if that stuff's more expensive, when they talk about getting prices under control and controlling inflation, they're really talking about getting energy costs down and in line. They don't realize it. You realize it at 25 years old. You realize it. If you get the energy cost in line, you will get the other cost in line with it, right? And so that's a big reason. That drill baby drill, as Trump always says. But when you're talking about green, I literally saw this the other day. Someone was talking about on X, Elon Musk made a post that was about the Trump. That's what it was. It was the Trump and Elon conversation. And someone said, if everybody would just adopt the EVs, electric vehicles, we would have a huge drop in the need for gasoline. And all I could do was shake my head at it, because Zach, how do you fuel up a Tesla car? How do you fuel it up?
Got the electrical, well, they have the specialized one, but it's electricity. And I'm not exactly sure what they have set in place to provide us with that said electricity, but I'm sure there's different things in place and things that need to be moved around in a certain way for it to function properly. And that probably takes a lot of petroleum as well. So
well, where does that electricity come from? Because it either comes from you got to mute. It either comes from generators pushing that, there's a generator there pushing electricity, or it's on a grid network. All of that electricity is still coming from oil. So EVs, guys, while they may not be gas going into an EV, there's electricity going into an EV that is produced by fossil fuels. So there you go, BC Port Corp. 60% of energy produced in the U.S. is produced by fossil fuels. So not really. If everybody had an EV, first of all, we wouldn't have enough power grid to charge all the cars at once at night. And then on top of that, you would also have a shortage of lithium. We don't have enough lithium on the planet right now for everyone to have EVs too. So let's jump over. I got another video. This is actually firsthand from grocery store owners that are responding. This is their reaction to Kamala Harris's comment about price gouging in grocery stores. So let's go take a look at that, see what they're saying.
Hi, my name is Isan Khan.
My name is Carlos Collado from Plainfield Supermarket.
I live in Staten Island, and over 24 years, I own a grocery store, real grocery store in Brooklyn. And during my this 24 years, I never saw the cost of grocery, bread, butter, cookie, milk going up during the administration of Biden and Harris.
See those shelves back there? We're trying to keep less inventory because it's expensive after the inflation under your vice presidency. Now I go through the store. Yes, we have to have merchandise here for our customers. But if you only knew how this works, and I invite you to come down. We can have you help us enter the invoices into QuickBooks, since you claim that we are price gouging.
So for example, I'll give you an example. You see this Oreo cookie? I love Oreo cookie. I used to sell it for, my cost used to be $1.50.
For the record, I love Oreo cookies too.
Right now, this cookie, I'm selling it for $7. Why? Because my cost is for over $4. And look, I have only 2 pieces. I used to order cases and cases because the cost of groceries is so much high, I can't afford it.
You can come down. Come on, we'll show you. Here, okay? You see those little price tags there and signs? Okay, those we try to keep as minimal as possible. I can show you an item where just yesterday it had gone up, and if we were to use our industry standard price system, it would have to have gone up about 25, 30, or 40 cents, and we decided to just increase it 15 cents.
I'm requesting to people that please don't vote for these people. They are bad news. I mean, Biden, what he did, he's in the corridor of power 45 years. What he accomplished? And the money that they are throwing in Ukraine war and this and that, and Trump said that the moment I get in, I'm going to stop the war. So that money should come to our economy. That money should go to our school and hospital. So we deserve that money. So please, this is Harris, and Kamala Harris is a bad news. She was a prosecutor in California. If you guys don't believe me, just Google it and find out over there what she did over there. You know what I mean? So please stay away from them. Bad news for America. This country is great, and we can make it great again.
Okay? Because our customers are.
So there you go, guys. Straight out of the mouth of immigrants in America. That's what they feel. They feel like this is not going to help at all. It's actually going to hurt these small stores. And there's a individual here on X that was talking about this. Let me find this. This is a great article here, guys. Robert Sterling is the one that put this out. And I'm going to jump over here and take a look at it here. Let me get it into scene before I jump over to that screen. But this is a great breakdown of how this all works. So I wanted to bring this in. Let me go into the music and pause that for a second, because I want to make sure that you guys can hear this really well. And let's jump over to the Army chart. Here we go. Let's get that going. There we go. All right. So guys, this come from Robert Sterling here. And he said, people need to stop overreacting about Kamala's plan to reduce food inflation as if it's going to lead to communism, mass starvation, and the end of America. He said, I worked in the food industry, step-by-step summary of how it would actually happen. And I'm just going to summarize this as we go down, because some of it gets a little in depth there. What do you guys, ETS? What's up?
Just go ahead and pull up Flat Smack's comment. I love it. It's my favorite.
You want to buy more Caspa? Is it that one? All right. Get more Caspa. That's going to save it. let's get back over here and talk about this. But Flash Smack, yeah, buy more Caspa, man. All right, so looking at Robert Sterling here, he said, number one, the government announces that grocery retailers are not allowed to raise prices anymore, okay? Two, grocery stores, which operate on a 1 to 2 net margin, just so you know, about 1 to 2%. You heard that that guy talking in a small store, mom and pop type grocery store, bodegas as they call them in New York. That is about a 1 to 2%. They don't have that mass purchasing power of like a Walmart or Kroger, stuff like that. Okay, so they operate at about a 1 to 2 net margin. They can't survive if their suppliers raise prices. So the government announces that food producers like Kraft, Heinz, Conagra, Tyson, Hormel, etc., they also cannot raise prices. They would have to do that because if their prices are going up, Alex O said, happy birthday to Zach, man. We appreciate you. Throw it up on screen. Let's get that up there on the screen. The Otter Gang in the house saying happy birthday to Zach. So we appreciate you. Let's get back here. Let's get through this because there's a lot to go over in here. So, of course, they got to now raise those prices because they've got to put a halt on these companies raising prices so that they can control the prices that are being charged to the grocery stores. Okay, so you can see the trickle effect. So now they've got to stop two people from raising prices and put government-controlled pricing on the grocery stores that are selling and the producers and manufacturers. Right. Not all grocery stores are created equal. I'll tell you guys right now, if you go to like New York or something like that, you don't have like huge grocery stores in these regions of neighborhoods and stuff like down in the Bronx and stuff like that. It's these little bodegas, small little grocery stores. They're staples to their communities, and inside of that community is where these they provide the groceries without people have to get on buses to go all the way out to wherever. What's up, Zach? What are you laughing about, man?
I love the misspelling of my name from LBC.
How do you spell it? What is it?
It's all good. It's just the way it is. Like there's a K, which is low key incorrect, but that's fine. But then we got AWEEE, Zachary.
Hey, you know what? They threw money at you. They can spell your name however they want to today. Today it can be Z A.
Oh yeah, I'm not concerned.
Z-A-C-
I'm not concerned. Why the double C? How dare you?
Are you saying you like double D's better? All right, let's get back to the article, guys. So continuing on here, you've got to have, you got a nice limitation of pricing going on from the manufacturers and the grocery stores now, right? And then you've got these smaller bodegas in like the Bronx and stuff. Obviously, they don't have that purchasing power of big grocery stores. So they're going to get hit even harder. Again, 1 to 2% margins on those grocery stores, right? He said, meanwhile, the margins for food producers are also quickly eroding. Why? Because, well, now the government has put a restriction on them. Remember? They put those restrictions on Kraft and Heinz and all that. So their profit is now in a lower margin, okay? And their profit is quickly eroding because their primary cost, ingredients, energy, there's that energy again, playing out on another thing, and labor are not fixed, right? Matter of fact, what do we hear all the time about raising minimum wage? And that's going to actually put even more cost, and they can't charge more to cover those costs. So what do they have to do? They have to continue with shrinking their gross profits, leaving less cash flow available to cover overhead, maintain their facilities. So their quality starts to drop down. They now have, what used to be a very clean ran store, they started to cut corners, whatever it may be, right? In addition to their additional production capacity that they cannot, new systems come out, new technology, they don't have the money to advance and buy all that new equipment, right? Because they've got it capped by the federal government. So grocery chains, which have finite shelf space, they start to repurpose their stores. So you got these little grocery stores now that instead of groceries, because that stuff's capped and they can't really make any good money off of it, they have to start putting nutritional supplements, kitchenware, apparel, stuff like that. All of your local grocery stores, Safeway and all that, they start to look a lot like a Walmart, guys. That's put on Target, right? You got your groceries in here, and you got, let's pick up a shirt while I'm here, and let me just go grab a pair of Crocs over here and call it a day, right? So looking at the continuation of trickle effects of this, right? Food producers stop making products with lower margins. So grocery chains start competing with each other to secure inventory. Since they can't compete by offering stronger prices because they are also capped, they can't raise their prices. And even if they could, grocery chains no longer have a gross profit to bear that price increase. So if they raise their prices, they can't get any more money out of what they're selling. So they continue to get even less. They compete on things like payment terms, like, hey, you can get your groceries here today, and we'll let you put a payment plan on it, and you can operate on debt just like the federal government does, right? Small grocery chains start to shut down entirely. They get sold to larger chains like Kroger. In addition to not being able to to cover fixed cost, a major reason for this is because they can no longer secure delivery of products. They continue on, which are prioritizing the sales to larger customers. So bigger stores now get more of the cost of more of the goods, and then the smaller stores don't get anything, right? They're able to leverage stronger balance sheets to offer superior payment terms to these producers. Okay, smaller food producers, which typically sell via distributors, they now. So we're talking about things like a local honey company here in Las Cruces. They're all over Texas, right? Texas Honey. The company's actually based in Las Cruces, and Texas Honey is sold throughout grocery stores in the South. That's the type of small food producers they're talking about there. They rather than sell directly to grocery chains, they start to go out of business because these producers have additional steps in their value chains, and because they have a lower volume, they cannot really spread out their fixed charging that their fixed cost that they get. So there's no place for it to go. It just eats up their profits, and they have to shut down. When grocery stores aren't able to raise prices, cutting product costs becomes all the more important, and they deprioritize purchases from smaller producers. So your small companies, now you got small grocery stores, they're gone. Mom and pop grocery stores, startup businesses for food production, they're gone. Little organic, company that makes, I think Alex's is one of the company. They make really, really good sous vide type meals, great meats, great sauces, stuff like that. Those companies are gone. As chain supplies break down, lines start to form outside of grocery stores. Every morning, cities assign police officers to patrol the store parking lots, and food producers draft contingency plans to assign armed escorts to delivery trucks. We're going to talk in a second about some things that we're already seeing like this in New York and how that would look on top of this, because there's another effect that's not even in this. So the federal government announces the program to issue block grants to states so that they can purchase and operate those closed grocery stores, that mom and pop grocery store. Now it can be state ran, right? And there's a federal grant coming for that. Don't worry about it. Federal government's got the USDA is going to seize those closed down production facilities. So now the USDA, the same people that brought you Lunchables with lead, now with more lead, are now going to be running production facilities across the United States. So the government announces that prices for all key food, corn, wheat, cattle, energy, well, they got to fix all that also, because if they can't control the prices on this, then they can't control the prices going to the price capped production facilities, which means that they can't control the price going to the price capped grocery stores, the point of sale. So now they got to control wheat, cattle, energy, and all that. Okay. It's just a trickle effect. Don't worry. But like he said up here at the top, quit overreacting, acting like this is going to lead to communism, mass starvation, and the end of America. Getting down here to the federal government announces that program. The government announces that they're going to take over the pricing on corn, wheat, and cattle. And then shockingly, the government struggles to operate one of the most complex industries on the planet. The entire food supply chain starts to implode. Communism, mass starvation, and the end of America quickly ensues. Hey, wait a second. There you go. Nice sarcasm there. He starts off with that and then ends it with that. That's exactly where it ends up at. Now let's jump over here. Let's talk about this for a second, because this is the definition of Marxism. Actually, I asked this to ChatGPT. Let me pull this up here. Trading names, daily fee reductions. Where are you at? I asked her in here earlier, and she gave me this answer. Anyway, I'll just talk it. I asked ChatGPT. I said, look, is controlling prices of grocery stores and controlling prices of production of food, goods, and energy. That are these things that are being talked about by Kamala Harris and her policies. And ChatGPT said recent policy announcements from the Kamala campaign party, blah 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 blah. I went into it, said are these policies that she's talking about doing. And I said, are these said policies in line with Marxist ideologies? And it says, she said it was foundational policies and ideology of Marxism. So not only are these part of social communism, as Darren Does Things just put there. Let's put that up there on the screen. That's a great comment. He said, welcome to pseudo social communism. Not only are these part of the manifesto of Marxism, these are actually foundational staples of social communism. So, you know what keeps things from being price gouged, Zach? I want to know, do you know what keeps prices from being gouged that does not require a socialist government to step in and control? Do you know what it is?
I'm not entirely sure. I actually do not know. I'm gonna learn some today, guys. You ready?
Oh, you're gonna learn today, son. You're gonna learn. All right, so here's what it is, guys. It's called capitalism. The thing that the left liberals and the socialist lovers want to hate on so much all the time. Capitalism is actually what keeps prices legit. Because if I have free market on my company and your company, Zach, is the same free market selling the same good, I need to get the business that he has to come to my store. How can I do that? I can lower my price by 10% on this good, on this item, right? I've got a really good line of supply coming in on this. So now I got the supply of the goods. I can put this on a 10%. You now have to either lower your price or lose part of your business to my business, right? And so free market capitalism is, Darren Does Things. He says it right there. That's perfect. Free market capitalism is the opposite to social communism. We are free market society in the United States. That is part of how we've built everything that we've done to this point and why we've had so much success. BC Port Corp, great comment right there. Capitalism, aka competition. People that hate capitalism are people that think that life is unfair because they're not good enough to succeed in a free capital market. Period. So if you had your skill set to advance and do something great with the business, then you wouldn't have to worry about that another company over here is doing free market capitalism, lowering the prices to compete with me, right? And as a consumer, you are the one that wins. Consumers win inside of a free capital market because we get the competition between those companies. It's what's created great things like Pepsi-Cola and Coca-Cola. Their competition created some of the greatest campaigns and build of wealth in companies, but it also created national brands, jobs. It created places of employment. It created entire markets being built. Look how many soda factories got built just because of the growth of Pepsi and Coca-Cola competing. Heinz competition. They were so strict on competition when they were making ketchup, the very first ketchup. For those that don't know, you may not know this either, Zach, or maybe you watched that documentary with me, but Heinz was making ketchup and a whole bunch of other stuff because ketchup originally was a product from China, and it was like a fish oil sauce, right? And they were using it to cover the flavor of the rotting meat that was being sold in butcher shops. At that time, there was a lot of growth, industrial boom in the cities, no grocery stores to support them. Maybe look at that little piece of history and remember what it looks like when grocery stores are gone from inner cities. But they use ketchup. And so there were a lot of companies that were competing, trying to make ketchup. Of course, they were not using as good of products as he was. Yes, capitalism, the worst economic system, except for all of the others. When you compare it to anything else, it's the best. So, good comment there. When he was getting all these other companies, they were competing to make their ketchup, right? And they were putting fillers in it. Sawdust, no joke. Sawdust is one of the fillers in ketchup, so that they could sell it cheaper, right? That's where the federal government stepped in and said, okay, under Heinz actually had his son go and lobby in Washington to get them to establish food guidelines, right? Look, you can't put sawdust in your food. Pretty much ended his competition overnight. However, he did establish where the government's piece is in all of this controlling price and all of that in competition in a free market society. And it's through proper, smart, logical regulation, right? Okay, look, you can't put lead in your Lunchables unless you're not in California. Anyway, I digress on that point. But it's that's where companies come in with that logic of regulation with government in place. It's not putting the price. The price doesn't need to be controlled by the government. Smart regulation should be there by the government, and that doesn't require a huge, massive government. I do want to point out that if we went as far to say that all grocery in America had to be monitored and regulated by the federal government, that would be a ton more federal jobs. And you guys know what I feel about that. I actually think that that's how they've been pumping up these numbers that we're seeing on job numbers, because we've seen it over and over and over again where a big chunk is coming from state, local, and federal state jobs, government jobs, and that are surviving off of the teat of the American taxpayer. That's what that is. So Anyway, I was going to talk about, there's two things I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about New York. Have you seen in New York what's going on in New York with the bodegas, Zach, where they've literally are shutting down all over the place because grocery stores are getting robbed? Have you seen this stuff? You have not? Okay. So if you guys haven't seen that, I'm sorry I'm skipping around a lot. I need to get a script, okay? I need somebody over here holding up. You're on segment 3, but we're going to get there. So New York, they got these grocery stores. They're shutting down left and right because people are running in doing mass grabs. There's literally companies out there now where they are paying these rings. A lot of them are migrants. A lot of them are just looking for some quick, easy money. But they put out a list of things that they need. And those things that they need are, we're going to get to that question right there in a second. I'm going to mark that. Right there. There we go. Clay the Great making a comment there. I want to talk about that. So they get a list of items and goods that are needed from these grocery stores. These people go out and they get it for this company, and then they take that back to the guy that's running the whole scam, right? The whole scheme. And they take that to these little bodegas and stuff. And now the bodegas are able to sell their stuff with a better profit because it's so expensive coming from the producer, right? By doing that, they're taking from these grocery stores, and they're having to shut down because they obviously don't have any money coming in. And now these bodegas are getting groceries. So we're actually seeing crime levels go up, theft go up based on food prices. I'm going to tell you right now, when you tell a bodega that they can't charge more, if you think that that's happening now because of producer prices in New York, wait till there's a supply shortage coming in for food available, and because production slows down, and the grocery stores can't hardly make any type of profit because you've got the government controlling their price levels. You think crime is bad now in New York City, it's going to be hellacious at that point, especially if we're heading towards this equity, because we already know what equity looks like in the judicial system of these cities. It's a smack on the wrist. That was less than $1,000. You're good to go. Have a good day, and you're out of jail, right? So if it's under $1,000 theft, it is a misdemeanor. That's how it is in New York and in California. And another point too, that I see articles on this all the time. They talk about the crime rates. That crime rates are down under Biden and Kamala. Like that's, you can't talk about that there's more crime. No, there's absolutely a crime, a lot more crime going on. There was they stopped the mandatory reporting of crime levels from police departments to the federal level. That's why it looks like to them they are unless you transparently absorb. Well, I'm going to get into that, Wick. I promise you. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And unless what was I saying? What was I saying, Zach? Line, please. Wick made a good point. I got sidetracked. Anyway, it's absolutely going to have more crime, especially if they know that they're going to get away with it anyway. So that's what the point was. Where is that comment that I was going to bring up that we had here? There it is. Nope, that is a super chat. Why pay taxes? Right there. There we go. What's up?
All right. Well, I was just saying because I noticed it was Crux who said you were skipping around, so I think he just kind of voluntold himself there when he gets better.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's jump in here. Let's talk about Clay the Great's comment. Oh, and he just left the screen. Come back here. I thought your comment was going to be shorter. There we go. Why pay taxes when they just print the shit anyways? Okay, let's talk about that. We can talk about that. Because they don't just print money. It's actually a fallacy. They print money based on debt levels, and then they print money based on M2 money supply. Okay, and which is why you see it go up. When they need more money, yes, they can just print it. It doesn't need to be backed by anything. But the way that they run debt, they know that debt is going to get picked up also, right? Because they pick up debt by buying treasury bonds. When you see we just had a huge buy of it, huge purchase. Makes me wonder if there was anything there that was coordinated with the Japanese yen to get money to flow back into the US dollar, right? Through treasury bonds. But yes, they do just print it, but it is backed by debt. So, if you can operate that way and you're happy with debt on your books, which you shouldn't be, it's not just printed money. Like, it is backed by debt. And on the global economic level, Clayt, it is looked at as a acceptable currency backing. So I understand what you're saying, but it is backed by debt. So let me get back down here. Man, where is my bar? Let's get down there. There it is. I got to get back to the chat. There we go. Is Zach on the 1s and 2s? Can we turn the music volume down a bit? Is it too loud? We can turn it down. Let me know if that's better, Crux. Oh, I see. Specifically, violent crime reporting numbers. Exactly, BC Port Corp. He's talking about what I was just referring to earlier about they stopped having to report violent crimes. So violent crimes are up in the United States, but according to the federal government, according to Biden, they're down. So West Michigan love, Indie Rock Crypto in the house. Yes, debt is how all new money enters the system. Exactly. So when you see money being printed, it means that debt was created. So taxation is a fancy word for legalized extortion, and inflation is a hidden tax and is literally theft. I agree with that. I'm going to pull up. They're getting up on the screen. Flat smack. That's a great comment. You guys know where and when federal income tax started, right? Like, let me know in the chat. Do you guys know where federal income tax started? I'd love to hear what you guys think. And then I want to ask Zach if he knows also. But I want to wait for everyone to put their stuff in here. Actually, I'm going to ask you first, Zach, and see if you know, and then I will see what they put into the chat. Do you know where and when federal income tax in America became a thing? Because remember, for 2.5%, we kicked the Brits out. Remember that. Do you know when it started back up again?
I don't know exactly when it started. I'm pretty sure we've had a conversation about it before, back when I was still in like high school, but That was a while ago, so I don't quite remember. I'm down for a refresher if you got it.
All right, here we go. It says Social Security numbers taxation system, 1932. It was actually World War One. Let's go in here. I want to make sure that I think it was like right after World War One, and I believe that is right. 1932 is the ballpark. Let me go in here. Quit messaging me, Alex Fernandez. I'm live on Sunday. Let's see here. When actually, I just asked old Chat GPT. Let's get my girl in here. Let's get her in here. Here we go. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. What's up?
When did the United States government start federal income tax in the United States, and why was it started?
The United States government first introduced a federal income tax during the Civil War. The initial federal income tax was established in 1861 with the passage of the Revenue Act of 1861. This act was signed into law by President Abraham Lincoln on August 5, 1861, and it imposed a tax on personal incomes to help fund the Union's war effort. The primary reason for introducing the income tax was to generate revenue to cover the enormous costs associated with the Civil War. The federal government needed a way to finance the war without relying solely on borrowing, which led to the creation of the income tax as a temporary measure. However, this initial income tax was short-lived. It was repealed in 1872 after the war ended, and the federal government relied on tariffs and excise taxes for revenue for several decades. The modern federal income tax system, as we know it today, began with the ratification of the 16th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution in 1913. This amendment gave Congress the authority to levy a federal income tax without apportioning it among the states based on population. The introduction of this tax was largely driven by the need for a more stable and reliable source of revenue for the federal government, as well as to address income inequality and to fund public services and infrastructure. So, while the first income tax was introduced during the Civil War in 1861, the system...
I got to cut you off there. Was the new income tax that was started after 1913, did it have anything to do with funding World War One?
Sorry, I'm having issues right now.
Yeah, you are having issues. She's having issues, but it is, guys. It was also to help fund World War One, so they knew that they were going to need more money on that also. But yes, it was all started as temporary each time, temporary effect that was to give money, an influx of money to help cover the expensive cost of war. None of it was ever supposed to be long-term, and none of it was ever supposed to be permanent. And it was only the top 1% in the nation that was actually taxed first, and then it went down, not from the bottom up. It went from the top down. So you can see that the average person, like, I don't know, we'll just go here, like $100,000 average income in America, okay? I know it's less than that, but I'm sure I'm going to go off of for the efficiency of the math. If it was $100,000 income, your average federal tax is about 17%. And I know you guys are just scratching your head right now going, that can't be correct. It actually is. Social Security numbers made it permanent. Yes. That was another reason why it was supposed to be temporary and it made permanent, was because they used Social Security as a venue reason, a justification, if you will. That's the word I was looking for. That was the justification for keeping it permanent. And then they turned around and used that as another money source for the federal government. So it's all a game. But when they had the line, please, what was I talking about before that? BC Port Corp threw me off. Oh, income tax. So 17% is the average for $100,000 a year, because you look at the bottom portion is like 10%. For first portion is not even taxed. And then there's another bracket that's like 10%, another bracket's 12%. If you tally it all up, for the average person, it's about 17% tax rate in the United States. Much, much higher, though, still than what it was originally supposed to be when they were talking about the top 1% and that it was going to be temporary. So when we hear Trump talk about getting rid of federal income tax, it actually is in line with how the country has been a majority of its lifespan. It has been on tariffs, tariffs for imports and stuff like that. So that's how they paid for all of that. Now, could we afford to do that with the if we went back to just tariffs currently? No, not at all. We would have to greatly downsize our military, making them more lean and mean and less of a social experiment, which is what it is. It's a social woke experiment in the military today. Another reason why I don't mind not being back there. And then top it off, we would have to shrink the government, because you don't need a massive government especially if you're not, don't have a place for all that tax money to go to. So you don't have to make up programs to spend tax dollars and then make up jobs to work those programs if you don't have the money coming in. It's almost like they created money to come in so that they could create things for the government to control so that they could have more jobs. So there you go. Yeah, it changed greatly. Changed greatly. Clay the Great said, "You aren't lying, brother." Let's go ahead and bring it up there. Guys, I'm going to try to bring these comments up here more often. Let's just go through the chat and just see what people are saying here. Do a little Q&A. We're about at the 1 hour mark right now. But I just wanted to break that stuff down for you guys. This is literally what communism and social... this is what Marxism looks like. And if you guys don't know, Kamala Harris's father, a astute scholar of Marx, of Karl Marx. So there you go. You can Google it. You can Google it. You can find it out yourself. Let's sit here. Darren Dusting says, "Fuck, I'm on about 30% on UK getting shafted." Yeah. Do you guys have brackets in the UK, Darren? I'm not sure how your guys' tax system work. Is it in brackets, or is it just like a flat? Because usually if it's a bracket system, it'd be like 30% is your top tier. But there's brackets below it that pay a little bit less. So a lot of people don't realize that. They see I'm in the 32% bracket, so I pay 32% tax, but it's only for that top tier. There's tiers below it. I don't know if you guys are in the bracketed system now. Wick 589 says, "Had to help fund the military industrial complex." That's it. That was the end of colonialism. We'd already shut smaller countries of their worth around that point. Yes, that's true. That's true. Do you know, Wick, that big reason for the end of colonization in the world was because of the end of World War II? France and England, the two biggest colonizers at that point, greatly needed a lot of food and steel and other industrial complex stuff to rebuild their nation. And then we said, yeah, we'll do that. But you guys have got to pull back from all these other countries because you guys need money and you're sending it out to these places. So basically end colonization, and we'll make sure that you've got stuff for the nations that you're in. So that is really where you started to see England hand back India, South Africa, a lot of that stuff. So interesting fact there. Little trivia knowledge there. What else we got here? Social Security members made it perfect. Yeah, permanent. We already talked about that. Response on the brackets. We got that. Yeah, brackets, and there it is. Brackets and with tax-free portion, top for the UK is between 45 to 55%. 45 to 55% above 100,000 pounds. Got it. Okay. So yeah, so your pay is actually in that 30%, or are you above that? Are you in that 45, 55 at the top end? Because if your top end's at 30%, then if that's your bracket, then it should be a little bit less than that, like ours is. I typically come in about 30% for joint for my wife and I, and that comes out to like 19% on average for us. So, yes, Indie Rock Crypto, you are not lying. He said, best, most entertaining election cycle of all time in 2024. It's going to be interesting. That is for sure, man. That is for sure. Definitely. Speaking of entertainment, let me get you a little dancer action in there. In-N-Out Crypto dropping that July 4th Piper Academy Freedom logo. We appreciate you, In-N-Out. Interesting factoid, that was also before modern fertilizer techniques and genetic modification tech for growing food. So true, man. Like, can I get my food with a little less manipulation, please? I watched somebody on YouTube. Her name is... Maddie Gold is the name of her channel. She used to be with Tangerine Travels, and she and her ex, they're exes now, but they weren't at the time. They went to Mexico, and the whole point of going there was because they it'd be cheaper for them. They were like, we can survive down there on just our YouTube stuff, travel, and let's go down there. Well, one of the problems she had in the States for a long time was that she would get breakouts all the time. She had a lot of gastro issues, just felt like crap all the time. And she was buying organic foods from the grocery store, whatever she could afford, right? But trying to eat as healthy as she could. They were in Mexico. For about 8 months when she realized, I haven't been sick in like weeks. I felt great. And so she started like keeping track and watching and monitoring her health and how she felt, getting a little, little biofeedback from her body on that. And realized that all the issues that she was having before with her skin, her hair, her stomach, everything gone. She went back to the States to visit some family, was home for about 3 weeks, and started having the problems again instantly. So she now lives in Mexico out of necessity because she said that there's something severely wrong with food in the US unless you are uber rich and can afford it. So Montezuma's Grace, what is that? Wick, I don't know what that is. Enlighten me, my friend. What is Montezuma's Grace? Zach, can you look that up for me? We'll see what that is. Indie Rock said, Crux, I effing love the alumni. We do too. We love you too, alumni, man. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Breaking is better than Olympics for sure. Yes. This person here can smoke ray gun on the dance floor. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. Here, let's bring up somebody else. We'll have somebody else. There you go. There's Alex O Crypto. That is actually Alex O and some garland. We got some neon garland for him and sold him the dance at his wedding. And so we got that footage of Alex O. So, Monsanto is what is wrong with the U.S. food supply. Darren does things. See, you guys, there's some smart people in here, man. I got some smart people in the alumni. I would love for you guys to come into our AMA sometime, or if you guys are ever interested, we are going to add the ability for people to drop in on audio, like you'll call in over Discord in the future, and you can do call-ins over Discord if you're a member. So if you guys are at all interested in doing stuff like that down the road, well, I'd love to have you guys be able to drop in on audio and, just discuss your point. You can do that right over your phone. It would not be need camera or anything. You can do it right over your phone. Just call in. So we're going to be making that happen on our Discord also with this show with Gen Wealth. So Zach, we need to get some video of you dancing and put you on here, man. Do it all for the cookies, What do you got for me?
I don't think they're ready for that. I don't think they're ready for that at all. But I did look it up. Montezuma's Grace is, as he already put into the chat here, it was just kind of like a play on Montezuma's revenge, is like an illness people can get in reference to Central South American deity of Montezuma. Yeah.
Perfect. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, that's what
I got Zach over there doing his research. Same guys, free range, grass fed, organic as much as possible. Yeah. My wife and I are the same way. Like, it is expensive, guys. I mean, like, Jesus. I remember when I could go and get all kinds of food at the grocery store for $100, and now it's like I bought dinner for 2 dinners and food for 2 dinners, and it's $100 now. So, of course, today for Zach's birthday, because it's Zach's birthday, Zach gonna have his little party dinner tonight. He did. He requested some very expensive steaks. He wanted a USDA prime filet mignon with bacon wrapped asparagus and a house salad. So I got some good spring lettuce mix, organic, of course, organic English cucumber, some carrots. What else did we get? Croutons, red onion, tomato for your mom and I because you don't like tomato. And then we're going to do those steaks tonight and some bacon wrapped asparagus. So that is your birthday dinner tonight for your 25th. But yeah, normally very, very expensive to go to the grocery store in general. Yeah, BC Pork Corp. I'm with you there, man. He said I pay more for locally sourced items, but it's worth it. My wife and I, that's one of the big things that we miss doing, but it's so freaking hot down here in El Paso. We used to go up there to the Las Cruces farmers market and get a lot of local foods up there. We haven't done that in a while. We need to. BC Pork Corp said that you should have asked for Wagyu. I would have said, I love you, but I don't love you that much, son. So you can feel that, right? Win Cooking Channel at Army Piper. I've actually talked about this. I think I told you guys this before. I want to write a recipe book. I want to do a recipe book. But yeah, I could absolutely do a cooking channel. Zach, I don't know. And you and Crux have both had my food. Would you say that I could do, would I have enough recipes to pull off a cooking channel?
I mean, we can get crazy with it. We can start finding new recipes and being like testing them, trying them how like the recipes we find are. Cause you already we've tried a few things. Like you made homemade birria tacos already, and we already improved that from the first time you did it. So what's to say we can't find more recipes and start doing some craziness?
I've been making a lot of Asian dishes lately too. This week I did the sesame noodles, the rice noodles with the sesame oil and toasted sesame. We did that with the teriyaki chicken and stuff like that. So I'm definitely getting more adventurous, trying out Hispanic, and $10 an ounce for Wagyu. It'll spoil you. I've had it. BC Pork Corp. It was at a casino up at Windstar in Oklahoma. So I had it up there. It was outstanding steak. So you just had a Wagyu? Where'd you have Wagyu at? Yeah, you had a Wagyu burger though, right? Did you have a Wagyu steak? I don't know. I spend a lot in Vegas. You may have. He's saying that he had one in Vegas. So those corporations, you're likely going to be so upset with your politicians, you forget that the president didn't slap a price sticker on those Oreos and Nabiscos had stakeholders. That's true. That's true. Here's the problem with inflation. A company has a corporation has they have due outs to their shareholders. Okay. Let me get this in my head straight, and then I'm gonna lay it all out for you. Okay. They have obligations to their shareholders as a corporation. If you're an investor, if you're not an investor, you'll think no, they have they have an obligation to their consumer. But if you're a shareholder, you're absolutely going to go, no, they have an obligation to me. I put money in this company. I didn't buy their goods. I gave them money for the promise of gaining in value, right? So they have to look at, okay, this is prices now. Oil is at this price. We've got, shipping is at this price. Transportation's at this price. Wheat's going up because of this war, right? They take all this data in, and then they break it all out into a projection of what is our price going to be next quarter, the quarter after that, right? And so looking at that data, they can project, okay, we need to go ahead and nudge our prices in now to be at those costs. Herein lies the problem though. If you have done that and you've raised your prices in order to match what the projections were going to be, and then those projections turn out to be built in too high, a little bit too much, not exactly meeting the projection you thought it would be, and then you actually ended up making more money, they don't ever lower prices. That's my problem when it comes to corporations. They don't go back and lower those prices. They go, well, we already started charging it. We'll leave it there. And if anybody starts to say anything, then we'll throw a coupon out, a national coupon, and make it 2 for 1 or buy your second one 50% off for a while and make people forget, because we forget stuff very, very easily in America. And so they use that approach, or they do something called shrinkflation, where you get the same price on a good, but there's like 1 ounce less in it. And then over, 100,000 of that product in a month going out at 1 ounce less, they've now saved 100,000 ounces. And now if it's a 10 ounce product instead of an 11 ounce now, every 10 of those products, they get a free one. So that's that shrinkflation goes on there. And that's my problem with corporations when it comes to them and their prices. I do believe that corporations are part of the capital free market. But I think that somebody needs to take a look at when you raise your prices because of projections and your projections are inaccurate, you should be able to roll back prices. Not like Walmart, where they literally put the same sticker price on there and say, we rolled it back. It's the same price as what it was, but really, truly roll it back. And you're never ever going to get a good, you're never ever going to win the hearts and minds of the public as a corporation when you operate that way. But at the end of the day, they are a corporation in the United States, and they should be afforded some liberties and freedoms to name their own price. And it doesn't need Kamala Harris involvement into it. So BC Port Corp, it was a nice Valentine's Day special, so it was worth it. You're talking about Wagyu steak still over here, man. You guys and your Wagyu steak. I love it.
Yeah, they're making me hungry.
Oh, no joke. No joke at all. It's about time for us to go start and do our dinner. We've been on here for about an hour and 15 minutes, but guys, we're going to get this, show more honed in. We're going to get this show better. It's going to get more of a streamline and more of an actual run of what we're looking for there. A little Bitcoin there. Let's go take a look at these charts before we go and see how the week is looking right now, heading into the weekly candle close tonight before we get out of here. But yeah, this is, we're going to keep growing this thing, guys. This is Gen Wealth Season 1, Episode 1, and we're going to be here every Sunday just talking about what's going on in the markets, looking at things like headlines and what you guys need to know for the week ahead. Let's jump over, take a look at Bitcoin, and let's see how that's looking. Ethereum, I told you guys about the long on Ethereum. It's doing really well still. We're sitting at about 2667. Bitcoin is up. You guys remember this little line here that we talked about? I said, on Friday, we got the 200-day moving average here, and we got this little resistance block with the 0.66 of the golden pocket. We have pumped up out of that, but we are hitting close here, guys, to that dynamic reactor. If you guys remember, this was the daily that was rejecting us up here. On the 4-hour, we're getting ready to touch it also. And every time we've touched this, going back here, we did do a quick break up here to the 50-day moving average. But right here, you can see these wicks all off of this quantum reactor. And then right now we are closing in on that dynamic reactor right here. So be careful. I do think that we could see some pullback, but we have nothing on Monday, nothing on Tuesday. Not until Wednesday do we have any economic data that could be playing hell on us here. So I think what will be okay for now. Ticker, can you please run for me? Thank you very much. Ticker, leaving the screen. Who told him he could leave and quit the show on a Sunday? Let's go take a look and see how futures are looking for the stock markets tomorrow, guys. The US 30 right here, they closed it. Obviously, the futures are closed Friday as of right now. But we are going to get that open tonight, and it looks like it was opening to the upside for Friday's close. So we should continue up here. Remember, we're only 2% away on the stock market from hitting that all-time high again. Ada Ace wants to see Ada BTC on the daily. Let's go look at it for him, and then we'll head out of here. Walmart is lovely. How many of those employees are on food stamps? Yes, absolutely. True statement. True statement. Walmart, well, if you notice, Wick, what you were just talking about there, let me go ahead and bring that up here. I'll bring it up on the screen. There we go. Let me see if I can make that bigger for you guys. Now you guys, there you go. Perfect. And we'll just leave that there for a second. We'll talk about this. So if you notice what they were talking about, all those grocery stores looking like when the grocery stores couldn't sell goods anymore, that scenario, the producer, now they have to start selling things that aren't capped, like clothing and appliances and stuff, and everything starts to look like what I say, Walmart. Wouldn't it be crazy if Walmart wasn't the company that came in to buy out those grocery stores and create that model of groceries and apparel so that they could operate with profit without having to get into capped prices on grocery stores? Just saying. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Let's go look at ADA and BTC here. There we go. ADA and BTC. Well, you're sitting pretty low here. We are sitting down below the quantum reactor, the dynamic reactor. Where is the dynamic reactor? Sir, where are you? We wanted to see this on the daily anyways. Let's do that. Let's get over there. Take a look. You might get a move off of here, but as long as we're underneath the 100-day, I wouldn't have any reason to get bullish. As long as we can't get above the 100 and the 50, this entire period going back to March of 2024 is just a sad story here, man, on ADA versus Bitcoin. We are starting to get an uptick here on the Oscillator Pro, and we are getting higher on the True 7. We did burn out down there as a bottom. You can see that right in here. This is saying that this was the bottom level. So this could start to pump from here. But remember, ADA versus BTC doesn't mean that ADA is so much pumping hard. It just means that it's going up in relation to Bitcoin at a slightly higher level. And I've seen a lot of hopium with new projects that could give it a little boost there, ADA Ace. But I think that, yeah, quantum reactor. It's a beautiful thing, man. But I do think that if it's going to make a move, now would be the time for it to do it. We do have the Oscillator Pro Plus giving us all of that indication. So let's jump back over here and let's see how it's looking here on the daily. Yeah, this was that daily call back here that I said watch for the rejection here, dead in the middle. When Bitcoin hit 62.6 back on August 8th. It rejected right there off of the dynamic reactor, the quantum reactor. They were overlapping literally on top of it, and that was what sent this entire downside to the 618. So that's what happened there. All right. I'm in BTC USD farms, so I'm earning more ADA as ADA loses to BTC. There you go. That's a good way to do it, man. That's a good way to do it, ADA. You guys, if you guys don't follow ADA Ace, if you are interested in the ADA network, the ADA environment, right? And you guys want to get into that, excuse me, you guys want to get in there and learn about all of the stuff that ADA can do, that Cardano can do, I should say, then follow ADA Ace. He's got a fantastic approach to what he does in there, and he's way smarter on the stuff than I am. So, but I'm with BC Port Corp there. He said Ace's commitment to ADA is commendable. I bailed on it months ago. Hey, if he's the one that's sitting there at the end with bags on his shoulders and laughing all the way to the bank, I will be the first to give him the bow of respect, because that man has definitely grinded his way all the way through all of this. While everyone's belling out, ADA Ace has tripled and quadrupled down on Cardano. So, Zach, birthday boy, are you ready for some food?
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Well, I'm about to make a name for myself.
All right, shout out to you guys, man. Appreciate you guys joining us here today on Gen Wealth. Take a look at those articles. Keep an eye out there. Just remember, everything sounds well and good until you start to run the numbers and do the math. And definitely not what I was in the military for 22 years for, is to support socialism and communism. That's actually the enemy of the American way of life. So not going to be getting my vote. But hey, do your own research. Do your own research on investments. Do your own research on who you vote for. But just remember, that is an elected official that was elected by the oligarchs, the delegates, not the people. So, you know, how democratic is the Democratic Party? Let's go and get out of here, guys. We will be back here tomorrow morning, Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be breaking down everything for you guys for the markets and the whole week ahead. Looking at the charts, we're going to talk about where my favorite stocks are at, and we're going to take a look at MicroStrategy's leverage. It is called MSTX 1.75x leveraged MicroStrategies. We're taking a look at that tomorrow and see if I'm crazy about buying it or not. So, guys, we'll see you then. You guys have a great Sunday, and we'll catch you here next week on Gen Wealth. Later, guys.